Well, hello and welcome to Mokuzai Design. My name is Nick. Now the thumbnail on this video said how to become a millionaire woodworking, and I am going to tell you how to become a millionaire woodworking. Now, is that thumbnail clickbait? Well, I'll let you decide. Am I going to let you wait until the end of the video before I give you some nonsense that relates to the thumbnail? So, and the answer is no, I'm not. I'm going to tell you straight away how to become a millionaire woodworking. And it's very, very simple. In order to become a millionaire woodworking, what you'd need to do is start your business as a multi-millionaire. Now, if you start your business as a multi-millionaire, you will very quickly become a millionaire. Because, like it or not, this is a very expensive habit. So am I being facetious? No, I don't think so. I think there's a lot of people on YouTube that are promoting the idea that you can make a quick buck and make, you know, an extortionate amount of money for absolutely no effort. And you know what I have found in life? I built up a successful business. There was only one route, and that was hard work. A little dollop of luck, a little tiny bit of talent, but predominantly hard work. I was watching the men's finals from Wimbledon yesterday, won by a 21-year-old. He retained his title, so he won it last year as a 20-year-old. And they were talking about this God-given talent that this young man had, and he does. He is a, I mean, I don't know much about tennis, but from what I could see, it was just absolutely fantastic. It blew me away. But the fact remains is that young man, at a young age, has put in a tremendous amount of work to get where he's got. Yeah, he's taken a little bit of talent that he's got, but he's run with it, and he's put in the work, and he's put in the time, he's put in the effort, and he's made sacrifices too, along route. His mates are probably out night clubbing or something like that, where he's going to bed early, the correct nutrition, the correct amount of sleep, and then doing the correct amount of training the next day. He's made that decision and he's run with it. And that is the real reason as to his success. Does he have the backing of parents and family and a team? Yeah, he does. But at the end of the day, on the court, it's all down to him. And without that work ethic, then he will get absolutely nowhere. Now, can we relate that to a normal business? I've noticed on YouTube that people will put up a thumbnail saying I made $10,000, pounds, whatever, from selling cutting boards in a month. I find that difficult to comprehend. And £10,000 a month, is that turnover or is that profit? If it's profit, then you've got to be turning over $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month. If you're turning over 10,000, then it's unlikely that your profit is 10,000. You've bought your tools, you've bought your rent of your space or your garage or whatever, your time, the materials. So it's very unlikely in my mind that somebody is making £10,000 a month or $10,000 a month selling breadboards, just cutting boards, charcuterie boards, whatever they're called nowadays. Why? Well, first of all, they're easy to make, so they're a fantastic starter project for beginner woodworkers. Every man and their dog is putting them on Etsy and places like that. So the competition is absolutely massive. And I worked out the other day, there was one YouTube that a thumbnail I saw, and a quick maths told me that they were selling their boards for $140. This was all in dollars. So they were selling their cutting boards for $140, and they sold 100 of them in a month. Fabulous if they did, but then I don't think that they've taken into account the time, effort and cost of producing 100 cutting boards. I just can't see it. Now, maybe that's me being a little bit skeptical, I don't know. But from past experience, what experience tells me is that you cannot, and it doesn't matter what that is, whether it's a cutting board or whether it's a planter or whatever, the story's very similar. You cannot make money out of just following along like everybody and doing what everybody else does. The competition is too great. The costs are too high against the selling cost, which is probably too low. And you can turn over as much money as you like. When I was a young man, I got told that turnover is vanity and profit is sanity. So you can turn over £1 million, but if you're only making $10 profit, that's vanity. The £1 million is vanity. If you're turning over £1 million and making £990,000 profit, that is total and utter sanity. That's great business. And there's somewhere in between for the rest of us, obviously. So, am I being totally cynical? Am I saying that you can't make money woodworking? Well, no, I'm not. You can make a lot of money woodworking, but doing it the right way. So that I can try and help out, I'm just going to break down making money at woodworking into bite-sized chunks so that you can make informed decisions, or give you food for thought, really. I'm sure that a lot of the time you've gone through some of these thought processes already. But it is important to reiterate them because, and what I would suggest is you write them down. Write down a business plan, okay? Because doing it willy-nilly, it doesn't work. If you're going to have a woodworking business, treat it as a business. Now, it can be a part-time business, it can be a hobby business in my case, but there's no such thing as a side hustle, okay? Hustle to me means that you're trying to make a quick buck. Well, don't try to make a quick buck, try to make a business, and then the bucks will follow. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is to decide whether or not you think that you're capable of running a business that as an investor you're willing to invest in, because that's what you're doing. You're investing your money, you're investing your time, you're investing sometimes to the detriment of family life, etc. when you're starting a business. If you're going full-time in particular, if you're what is sometimes termed as a weekend warrior and trying to start a business that way, which is an admirable way to do it, you will end up working 12-hour days, 7 days a week. And that's how businesses start. It's just a fact of life. It goes down to what we were talking about just a short while ago, the hard work ethic. Are you willing to invest in yourself is the number one priority. Task 2 would be to make an honest appraisal. A self-honesty is worth its weight in gold. Now, you have to be honest with yourself about what your capabilities are at the moment, where you are on your woodworking journey as to what you can make. So have that honest conversation with yourself. What am I capable of? What type of joints can I make? What type of wood can I work with? What type of tools do I have? And give yourself an honest appraisal, which will get you to stage 3. Because the next part of the project is deciding what you're going to make. What project or projects are you going to make? Now, they have to be within your capabilities. Now, what I would say to you is always push yourself to the top end of your capabilities, not the bottom end. Now, what does that mean? Well, I've on this channel, I've done videos about making planters and boot pulls and things like that. I knock those out. Now, as a beginner woodworker, I used to find them all difficult, but now I don't. I think I did a video for a planter. Some people saw it. I ended up making, I think it was in the end, I had to make 10 of them. you know, but it wasn't any hassle because it was something that I was comfortable and found easy to do. So that was well within my capabilities, but is it a project that I would build to sell? No, absolutely not. They're the types of projects that I give away to friends and family. They're also things that I make out of my scrapwood pile, and we'll come to scrapwood piles in a moment because that is another element of the business where we can look at cheaper items. So that's the next stage, is deciding what you're going to make. Now, all I've told you so far is, or given you so far, is things that you should be thinking about. I haven't given you any advice. I'm just bumping my gums about what people should be thinking about when they're starting a business. But if there is a solid piece of advice that I can give, is whatever level you're at in your woodworking journey, finish your products to the highest possible standard that you can. Now that's from everything from the cutting of the project to the sanding of the project to the finishing of the project. Absolutely always finish to the highest possible standard that you can. Why? Well, there's one very simple answer. High quality finished projects or products sell. Rubbish, you might get rid of a few, but if they're hammered together and slung out the door, you're going to end up with a pile outside the door with no buyers. If you're proud of everything that goes out of the door, and that's the best you can possibly do, chances are that it's going to sell. So to give you an example of making something to the best of your capabilities or finishing to the best of your capabilities, there is a YouTube channel called Artisan Woodworks, and he has recently put up a video of making a very simple plant pot. Plant pot. And why do I mention this? Well, first of all, he's capable of so much more than making plant pots. And I'm sure he's aware of that. He's also a very good, if you look at some of his previous projects, a very good engineer type of brain. He's got the skills necessary to put together very good pieces of woodworking. Now, he made this plant pot, and it's a simple design, a simple but elegant design. It's well executed and it's well finished. So I put a comment on his video. As I said, I'll put a link in to this particular video. I'll put a link in the description. But I put a comment on that which ended up saying good job, because it was a good job. Now that is something that he didn't, I don't think, intended to sell any of these. I think he was just making it for himself and showing people how he did it. But that actually was something that could be quite sellable, because it was a beautifully finished product, and that makes a big difference. Now you could say, Nick, well, where do you take your woodworking business? Now my woodworking business is going down furniture, because you can make something that's unique and you can't be bought anywhere else. Well, obviously that's the word unique, isn't it? Can't be bought anywhere else, so I want to go down that route. I'm making less products but through a fine finish. Now you could say, well, yeah, but we've seen videos of you making a planter or making a boot pull and things like that. And yeah, that's true. Now they're what I call scrapwood challenges, and that's a challenge I set to myself. If I've got 5 minutes to literally take a bit of scrap wood and make something out of it, whilst on my real projects I'm waiting for glue to dry or waiting for hard wax oil to dry out or something like that, then rather than twiddling my thumbs and sat in a chair drinking a cup of coffee, I'll pick up a bit of scrap wood and make something out of it. But whatever goes out of the door, I do like to think to myself, well, it's got to be of a standard. Just because they're friends, just because they're family and they're getting something for free, doesn't mean I put out rubbish. I put it out to a good standard. And that I've probably mentioned good standard, high standard, very good standard, best standard. Probably mentioned it 1,000 times, but it is very important that you do the same. Put it out and be proud of what goes out that door. So you've decided on your products, you've started to make them, you're getting them to a good standard, or the best possible standard, and you're proud to see them leave your workshop. What do you do next? Well, I mentioned before that I was doing some scrapwood challenges, which I do. I got a big pile of scrapwood here, and it's literally scrapwood from projects. It's not something I bought, I just don't throw it away. But you know, there's like big lumps of sapele here that I can use up. So I will, and that's what I do. But I don't just do scrapwood challenges. Something else I do is to push me a little bit further in my woodworking journey too. So it could be a good time when you're waiting for something to mention this before. It's the glue up times and things like that where you would be twiddling your thumbs. Pick up a piece of wood, practice a new joint, practice a new technique. Get your chisels out and practice pairing properly. Learn to sharpen your chisels, which is going to be the next video, by the way. Nice segue. Sharpen your chisels, learn to sharpen your tools properly. There's nothing more dangerous in a workshop than a blunt tool, remember that. So utilize your time to build your business, but allocate some of that time to improvements as well, improvements in your capabilities on your woodworking journey. So that again is another investment. So I'm going to spend an hour doing that. I'm investing in me. That will get you, that'll come back to you tenfold. So then it comes to pricing your projects. I would suggest that you go for higher end. The more you can comfortably charge for a project, I'm not talking about ripping people off, I'm talking about charging a good price for a good product, then you're going to turn over more money, and more of that money will be profit. And that's just a fact of life. It's like that old movie, if you build it, they will come. Now, what I would suggest you do, and it's not about chasing the dollar, it's about chase the product, chase the technique, chase the quality, chase the finish, chase all of those things, and the dollars, the pounds will come to you eventually. So that's my take on getting started in a business. Can you become a millionaire?